Yes.
The food pyramid. What people
Yes.
are
Yes.
to reduce red meat specifically.
Yes, I would.
Do you ban plastic straws?
I think we should. Yes.
So would you ban offshore drilling?
Yes.
Just today, the Trump administration announced plans to overturn requirements on energy-saving light bulbs. Would you reinstate those requirements as president?
If you can get electricity from a light bulb that utilizes 1/10 of the power that an old incandescent light bulb used, of course you're going to do that.
We have to take combustion engine vehicles off the road as rapidly as we can.
Educating everyone on the need to curb population growth seems a reasonable campaign to enact. Would you be courageous enough to discuss this issue and make it a key feature of a plan to address climate catastrophe?
Well, Martha, the answer is yes. I think especially in poor countries around the world, where women do not necessarily want to have large numbers of babies, and where they can have the opportunity through birth control to control the number of kids they have, something I very, very strongly support.
Let's talk about offshore drilling for oil. Would you ban it?
Yes.
Would you ban offshore drilling? Absolutely yes. We will transition off of fossil fuels, natural gas, coal, oil.
What about the export of fossil fuels from the United States? Would you ban that?
Absolutely, we must get to that point.
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
I'm in favor of a carbon-free America.
In my administration, we're not going to build any new nuclear power plants.
We set out the rules for what kind of plant, coal burning plants. No one's going to build another coal burning. We've got to shut the ones down we have.
We're going to end factory farming because that is a danger to the environment and to climate change. There will be a transition.
Welcome to Stranger Things, CNN Climate Town Hall Edition. Holy smokes. 7 hours of the most outrageous, far out of the mainstream proposals you will ever have heard in a presidential election in the United States of America. In the span of those 7 hours of sheer left-wing moon battery, we had calls to ban plastic straws, red meat, incandescent light bulbs, gasoline-powered cars, nuclear energy, offshore drilling, fracking, exporting natural gas, coal-fueled power plants, and the element carbon itself. Yes, my friends, the totalitarians have arrived, and they are cloaked in green. Make no mistake, in this Democrat primary season, we are in the upside down. Well, not that anyone would know it, because with the combined star power of the 10 leading candidates for the Democrat nomination to run for President of the United States in 2020, the CNN Climate Town Hall was a complete ratings flop. Both Fox and MSNBC beat CNN as they normally do every night by a wide margin. Now, during those 7 hours, Fox News Channel drew about 2.5 million viewers on average, while CNN drew less than half that, a paltry 1.1 million viewers. Now, but Neo, you might be saying. Fox News Channel's audience skews to the boomers. CNN doesn't want those Jurassic-era Fox News viewers anyway. I mean, this was the climate summit that attracts, that all-important 25 to 50-year-old demographic that they're really after. You'd be wrong again. CNN only got 265,000 viewers on average in the key demographic. Fox nearly doubled them up again with 418,000 in that most coveted viewing demographic, 25 to 54-year-olds for that 7-hour time period. The blowout reached epic proportions in the primetime hours, where Fox dominated CNN, 3.2 million viewers to the minuscule CNN number of just 1.3 million. So yeah, this thing, if I tried to parse out every cringy proposal in this thing, this video might take 7 hours to watch. So let's focus on a couple of doozies. Here is Bernie Sanders proposing the United States as a deliberate and intentional program of our federal government fund and pursue the goal of reducing the population of poor third world countries.
Educating everyone on the need to curb population growth seems a reasonable campaign to enact. Would you be courageous enough to discuss this issue and make it a key feature of a plan to address climate catastrophe?
Well, Martha, the answer is yes. And The answer has everything to do with the fact that women in the United States of America, by the way, have a right to control their own bodies and make reproductive decisions. And the Mexico City Agreement, which denies American aid to those organizations around the world that allow women to have abortions or even get involved in birth control, to me is totally absurd. So I think, especially in poor countries around the world, where women do not necessarily want to have large numbers of babies, and where they can have the opportunity through birth control to control the number of kids they have, something I very, very strongly support.
Since in every industrialized nation, the organic population growth is negative, for, let's use the leftist term, non-POC folk, his proposal would only impact countries with majority POC populations. So you have a major candidate, someone who could conceivably win the Democrat Party nomination, saying that as president he'd pursue a program of, what did they call it back in the day? Was it eugenics? I can't even say the word properly lest the YouTube naughty words algorithm, rap me across the knuckles. Whether that's his actual intent or not, that would be the end result of such a program. Hell, it's already doing that in the U.S. since the aforementioned POCs make up less than 40% of the population, but account for over 60% of those procedures that Bernie wants to fund to cut down on those pesky babies. Now, I'm trying to imagine the reaction if President Trump just flippantly said something, equally boorish, like, hey, let's cull the population of all the shithole places. Could you imagine? But if you want to know who was the winner of the award for self-own of the night, that distinction has to go to Pete Buttigieg. Yes, this hardy eco-warrior was willing to make the personal sacrifice necessary to save the planet. We only have 11 years left, people. Here's Pete Buttigieg on the subway on his way to the climate town hall. No convoy of gas-guzzling SUVs for this eco-warrior. No, sir. Though I think that this photo really backfires from another aspect. It's the simple fact that this is a candidate for a major party nomination for President of the United States riding a train in New York City, and not one person recognizes him or knows who he is. Seriously, check it out. The whole car doesn't look like anybody cares less that there's a candidate for president in their midst. Reminds me of that when that lady wanted to get by, Kirsten Gillibrand to grab that salad dressing. So Buttigieg said at the town hall, he actually said this, if you eat hamburgers or use straws, you are part of the problem.
I think we're thinking about it mostly through the perspective of guilt, from using a straw to eating a burger. Am I part of the problem? In a certain way, yes, but the most exciting thing is that we can all be part of the solution.
Well, would you look at that? I'm not an expert or anything, but I'm seeing hamburgers and straws in these pictures of Pete Buttigieg. What is it he's saying then, that hamburgers and straws for me, but not for thee? Who is this guy kidding with this virtue signaling? Does he really think American hamburgers and straws are ruining the planet? Does he really think he's going to the White House with a message, vote for me and I'll take away your burgers and your straws? These people are nuts. Lastly, look at the damage these people are doing inside their own families. They're freaking out their own offspring. Here's Robert O'Rourke relating how much he's filled his own kid's head with the belief that El Paso, Texas will soon be an uninhabitable wasteland like something out of a Mad Max movie if something dramatic isn't done with climate change.
My son Henry, who's 8 years old, when I was talking to him the other night, he asked me, Dad, if you win and you become president, we get to live in El Paso, right? And I said, no, if we win the way this works, we would live in Washington, D.C. But he knew, because I had told him about the warming that we face, that our community will be uninhabitable, will not sustain human life along this current trajectory unless something dramatically and fundamentally changes.
Did you hear him? Robert O'Rourke says he told his own son, Henry O'Rourke, that El Paso would be unable to sustain human life soon. Someone call CPS. This is crazy talk. Not even the people who wrote the IPS report that these maniacs are basing their hyperbolic claims on, not even these people say these things. The lead author of the gloom and doom report even say, not to twist their words, there'll be no global effect felt even if the average temperature to rise, a 1.5 degrees Celsius as early as 2030. The 12 years after the release of the report back in 2018. What these people are doing is taking the worst case scenario in a worst case report. And remember what that worst case is. The worst case is that even if you believe in all this anthropogenic bull, is that in the face of this alleged existential phenomenon, that then the world's countries take no steps toward mitigation. Now understand what I'm saying when I say mitigation. I'm not talking about Green New Deals or Paris Climate Accords. No, I'm talking about basic things like building dikes, seawalls, stuff like that. The basic things that mankind has done since the dawn of history. It's believed that efforts at flood control have been going on in places like the Netherlands since at least before the year 1000 AD, when the first dikes protected small villages from the advance of the sea. By AD 1250, most of the dikes in the Netherlands had been connected and combined into a continuous sea defense. Freaking Dutch peasants in the late Dark Ages and early medieval period, they're building dikes. Does Beto think that 21st century countries faced with rising seas are just going to throw up their hands and go, oh no, what do we do? Barack Obama just plunked down $15 million. Let me say that again. $15 million for a beachside property in the most exclusive liberal enclave in America, Martha's Vineyard. It's an island. Do you think Barack Obama believes his beachside house that he just blew $15 million on is going to be underwater in the foreseeable future? I mean, never mind what any of these people say. Look at what they do. Private planes wherever they go. Buttigieg has already spent more than $300,000 on private jet travel during this campaign. I mean, the most of any candidate by far. Does this sound like a guy who cares about burning up fossil fuels? I mean, the last time I checked, Gulfstreams and Learjets don't run on solar power. That's all for this NeoUnrealist. If you want to help the channel, do me a favor. Hit the like for this video. Leave a comment below. Mash down on the subscribe button if you're not subbed to the channel already. Click on the notification bell next to it. You set it to the all setting to keep up with newer content. If you want to contribute directly to the channel, toss your hard-earned dollars, your carbon credits into the tip jar. Follow the links below to Subscribe Star or PayPal. But if you watch this on BitChute, you can just press the green tip pledge button on the video player. Now, if you're still around to hear this after a breakdown of 7 hours of the wackiest harebrained proposals ever put forth by a pack of presidential hopefuls, and you did that without popping a blood vessel in your eye, tick off another hash mark towards your diehard achievement. You're an absolute beast. Thanks for watching.